What's going on, guys? Welcome into the program. Thanks for hanging out today. Man, there are some people that you can never just appease. There are people you can just never appease. Mind-boggling. Welcome into the show. What's up, guys? We got a lot to get to today. Obviously, a big day in Washington, D.C. Announcements being made left and right. Kevin McCarthy looks like he will become the Speaker of the House. Nancy Pelosi making a big statement today. House investigations that are about to get underway. There's a lot of things going on. Are you ready for it? Because there's a lot of changes happening very quickly. Also, coming up on the program today, bottom of the hour, Mark Burrell. He is the author of his latest book, Rediscovering the American Covenant.
2 minutes till broadcast.
Thank you, Mrs. Voice of Reason. Rediscovering the American Covenant is his book. We'll talk about how to bring us back to the founding principles of this nation. Is it possible or is it too far gone? We'll talk about that coming up at the bottom of the hour today. Outside of that, man, we have more audio clips than I know what to do with, and we'll try and get to the best of it that we can throughout the show today. Hopefully, you are ready to rock and roll forward as well. We are less than a week away from Thanksgiving, which is hard to believe. Yeah, I told you. Once you hit that trifecta, man, with the holidays, it just doesn't stop. It actually gets faster and faster every time. And it's concerning because I need it to slow down. We have stuff we have to do before the holidays actually get here. What's up, guys? Yeah, we got a lot. Oh, hold on. Helps if I actually start this one here. Trying to get all the live streams going here. We have the video up and going on OpsLens and The Next Gen USA. OpsLens website, app, social media.
Broadcast.
Yeah, we just got the audio feed up and going on Podbean, also on our website at HooserReason.com. So we are about to also announce some really cool stuff that's going on with the show that will be happening soon. Hey, what's up? Yeah, everybody saying hi. If you are watching on social media, first off, thank you guys. We love you to death. Make sure to like it out.
30 seconds till broadcast.
Like it, share it out onto your own page. Let's break the algorithm. We're still battling some of the algorithm because I got put in Facebook jail a few months ago. And since then, man, our algorithms just haven't been where they needed to be. All right, got a couple seconds here. Like it out, share it out, leave a comment, say hi, call me a jerk. I don't really care, but let's do this thing. Let's have some fun for a pre-Friday celebration.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin transmission.
Degrees.
Fighting for freedom every day.
You as the individual, you have the power. You don't have to join a union. You go in as an entry-level position. You get the experience that you need. And then as you work up, you get better at your job, which means they pay you more. If they don't pay you more, then you go to another company to show what you've learned and what your value is to where you can get more. If they really don't like that, then you can go and start your own damn business because we have a free market, laissez-faire, capitalist society, allegedly, to where you can actually go off and do your own thing.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
I am so glad that I do not drink a lot of coffee. Aren't you? I already talk fast enough on this program. People say I'm talk way too fast sometimes on the radio show. That's okay. But I'm glad I do not drink a whole lot of coffee because if I did, I would be absolutely livid with the fact that Starbucks is now seeing over 100 stores have their employees strike against the company. The woke, progressive left company of Starbucks is seeing their unionized workers strike. Imagine, if you will, a woke company trying to hire on left-wing progressive hacks, and they're still not happy enough, so they have to unionize and strike because they're not getting enough benefits for the already high, overly priced coffee that you get at Starbucks. Welcome into the program. What a show we have lined up for you today. It's going to be a big one today. Broadcasting live out of the heart of the nation here in Wichita, Kansas on our flagship radio station. We are all over the country, radio, TV, live streaming, and podcasting. However you watch or listen to the show, we love you to death. As always, your Millennial General reporting for duty. Obviously, a lot of big news and a lot of audio. I don't know how to play all the audio clips that I have on the show today, but by golly, we will try. Bottom of the hour, Mark Burrell. He is the author of his latest book, Rediscovering the American Covenant, the roadmap to restore America, as we talk about how to bring the country back to our founding principles, which to the left side of the aisle is a very triggering comment to be made. Because the original founding principles of this nation are not progressive left-wing socialism. It is you do your own thing, baby, and it is equal opportunity for all to have the opportunity to succeed, but not an equal outcome at the end of the day. So we'll talk with him about that. How do we bring us back to our founding principles, or are we too far gone? And is that something that we have to accept in this nation as we move forward in the greatest nation of the entire world? All right, we got a lot to get to today. We have obviously some transition of power going on in Washington, D.C., as there were a lot of speeches that were made today in our latest and what's trending.
What's trending today?
And I have to admit, regardless of how the election came about, obviously we could have seen some big victories. And we've talked about over the last few days, not only just gaining the House, but getting a larger margin in the House of Representatives, being able to get a majority in the U.S. Senate as well, being able to get some of the governorships across the nation. That we could have done a lot better in the election. However, I will say there is a bright side to this. And the bright side to what happened in the election is that not only did we see a transition of power in the House of Representatives, where Nancy Pelosi will no longer be Speaker of the House, but the greatest, sweetest words I could have heard at all today was this.
There's no greater official honor for me than to stand on this floor and to speak for the people of San Francisco. This I will continue to do as a member of the House, speaking for the people of San Francisco, serving the great state of California, and defending our Constitution. And with great confidence in our caucus, I will not seek re-election to Democratic leadership in the next Congress. For me, the hour's come for a new generation to lead the Democratic caucus that I so deeply respect. And I'm grateful that so many are ready and willing to shoulder this awesome responsibility.
Do you understand the repercussions of what just happened here? She's not seeking leadership within the Democratic caucus, meaning she's not just going to be Speaker of the House anymore. She is no longer going to be in an authoritative position under the Democrat caucus at all. Not the House Minority Leader, not any type of whip position. She is working on her way out. Ladies and gentlemen, the biggest, sweetest victory we could have had this election is seeing Nancy Pelosi end her term, in a couple years probably retire from the House of Representatives altogether. Nancy Pelosi is done. Finito. Over. This is probably the sweetest news that we could have heard the entire time. Now, her speech was completely absurd the whole time. She made some jabs at Trump. She talked about unity. I love how someone who is probably the most divisive character in Washington, D.C., who hates Republicans with an absolute passion, who's a crazy left-wing socialist from California and from San Francisco, and is used and abused the system for her advantage. I love how she can sit there and talk about unity, which she did during her speech on the floor earlier today.
Mommy and Daddy taught us through their example that public service is a noble calling and that we all have a responsibility to help others. In our family, my brother Tommy then became mayor of Baltimore also. But it's been my privilege to play a part in forging extraordinary progress for the American people. I have enjoyed working with 3 presidents, achieving historic investments in clean energy with President George Bush, transformative health care reform with President Barack Obama, and forging the future from infrastructure to healthcare to climate action with President Joe Biden.
I think she missed a president within there. Let's see. We had George W. Bush. We had Barack Obama. And then we had Joe Biden. She didn't even mention Donald Trump in the speech. While she talked about unity, she talked about how we fought off against the insurrections of the country. We defended democracy. The people came out and spoke in this nation, and they spoke about how great this country is. And we ended up securing our elections and what people really wanted. And that's not the way that we do things with an insurrection, because we are about unity. We're about coming together and finding solutions together.
Last week, the American people spoke, and their voices were raised in defense of liberty, of the rule of law, and of democracy itself. With these elections, the people stood in the breach and repelled the assault on democracy. They resoundingly rejected violence and insurrection, and in doing so, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there.
She made a lot of constitutional references in that speech. Is it just me? Is she drunk or does she have a lisp? Now, I'm not criticizing how people speak. Obviously, I stutter all the time on this program. I speak way too fast for some listeners on the radio program. I get it. I mean, you get nervous, you get jittery, you talk way too fast, which I'm not nervous or anything. That's just the way my brain works. I have to talk fast or else I lose track of what I'm thinking about because my brain moves way too fast for me. Sometimes I have to just slow myself down. But does she have a lisp or is she drunk? She giggled half the time throughout it as well as people were sitting there clapping. She sat there and just giggled to herself. It's very strange. But she's out. She's done. She's not the speaker any longer, and she's not even going to be looking to become or to have a leadership position in the Democrat caucus any longer. So now the question is, who's going to take up that reign? Who's going to do it? Because the Democrats have been so closed off in their caucus, they haven't allowed the new generation to come up and actually take over issues in the Democrat caucus. They haven't allowed them. AOC and the radicals that are on that side of the aisle, they're really the young crowd that's trying to come up, and they've shunned them. In fact, if you remember, most of the Bernie Sanders socialist supporters in the presidential caucuses during the primaries in the last two presidential races were shut out with a big, beautiful fence and a big, beautiful wall that kept them out because we didn't want them anywhere near. The big, beautiful gates and the big, beautiful wall. They built a fence around the DNC conventions and kept out the socialist Democrat Bernie Sanders supporters from them because they didn't want them to be part of that caucus. That resulted in the revolt of many like AOC and Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib and whoever else is part of that crazy B squad. They're the ones that rose up because of the Democrat Party trying to shun them, and they don't want any part of them. They didn't even bring up any rational ones. If you remember the Kennedy, that was in the East Coast. I don't remember his name. He did one of the State of the Union rebuttals against Trump during his 4 years, and that was the last we heard from him. And you would think, well, a young kid, he was good looking, he was a Kennedy, so obviously he had power, he had influence, he had money. He would be the next rising star of the Democrat Party. You never heard a word from that guy either after that State of the Union rebuttal from that Kennedy. Then you had the rising stars the Democrats tried to bring up. That was like Stacey Abrams. That was Gavin Newsom, I guess to a degree. I guess he's still there, but no one's talking about him. Beto O'Rourke out of Texas. Those guys failed miserably. The rising stars that were supposed to be the chosen saviors of the Democrat Party, they failed miserably. And they haven't won. Are they out of politics? Probably not. They're still going to kind of linger around because they like the starlight being on them. They like the spotlight shining on them day in and day out. So they'll announce some type of race. They'll do something. They'll work in the administration somehow. But there's no rising star there. Even Pete Buttigieg, who's now the transportation secretary under the Biden administration, who was supposed to unite the Democrat Party, being part of the LGBTQ crowd, being from Chicago, having a lot of power and authority. He was supposed to be the next rising star to replace Joe Biden. And guess what? The first choice in the first program or the first responsibility that he had after the infrastructure plan, he again bombed majorly because he couldn't handle it. Coming from a mayor's position in a city in Illinois to going up and working at the federal level, he was way in over his head, and he's botched every program that was given to him, and yet the Democrats have nobody. So who do they have? Who picks up the reign? The Democrats did not invest in the younger generation. The Democrats did not invest in their lower caucuses across at the statewide levels across the nation. And Barack Obama was really the one that started that. He didn't even give it to what's about the statewide levels and the Democrat parties at the state levels. He didn't care. He didn't invest in them, which is why Republicans won overwhelmingly with near 3/4 of the governorships, 3/4 of the state legislatures. They dominated against Barack Obama and the Democrats because he never focused any attention at the local levels. Now they're in a position to where they're wanting to go out. They do not want Republicans to tell them what to do. So Nancy Pelosi, she's out. She's done. She doesn't care anymore. She's made her millions upon millions upon millions of dollars. She's bullied Republicans left and right. She's bullied half the Democrat caucus left and right. And now she's walking away because she don't care anymore. And the Democrat Party's there trying to pick up the pieces. They say, according to the Associated Press, where they're looking, they say that they're anticipating someone like Hakeem Jeffries from, what district is he from? He's from the 8th Congressional District from the state of New York, to potentially be one of the next big leaders in the Democrat Party. No one's even heard of this guy. I mean, he may be good, he may not be good. I'm assuming the fact that they're picking him with his name, I'm assuming it's because of the minority thing, so they got a little check mark there. I'm sure he's a little bit of a left-winger coming from New York, so a bit of a check mark there. But no one knows this guy. They don't have the name of the Pelosi's, or the Chuck Schumers, or the Dick Durbins. I'm surprised they're not looking at someone like Adam Schiff, because he would be somewhat of a name. He would be absolutely terrible, so I hope they don't do that. I'm not giving them any ideas here, but I'm surprised they don't, because he's got really one of the biggest names, and the only reason people know him is because of the investigations on Trump and the impeachment that happened twice in the House against Trump because of Adam Schiff and him leading that legal case in the House of Representatives. The Democrats are in shambles, and this is our opportunity as Republicans to pick up that torch and to run them over, to ram through our agenda, to show their weaknesses, to expose the weaknesses in both chambers from the Democrat caucus right now, and show that they don't have anyone left to pick up that mantle and run and to carry on the agenda they've been fighting oh so hard for in the Democrat Party, because they have no one left to do it. It's good news for us. Applaud yourself on the back, pat yourself on the back. This victory, while it may be small in the House of Representatives, allowed us a bigger victory, was to oust one of the most corrupt politicians in American history, to not only give up her leadership positions, but for her to start walking out the door. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a good day for America.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Andy Hooser here, reminding you not only can you listen to the Voice of Reason on your favorite radio station, but also check out the video of the program on TV and online. We're excited to be working with our partners over at OpsLens to bring the Voice of Reason live every day on their website at opslens.com, on the OpsLens app that you can download on any of your smartphones, or on any of the OpsLens social media. It's a great network that broadcasts multiple shows promoting truth, reason, and common sense, reaching thousands of viewers every day, all day long. Plus, while you're there, you can always watch some of the best highlights of the show during the weekends, or read our latest opinion columns on topical issues of the day. Also, if you want to interact with me during the program, just leave a comment on their social media or the OpsLens app stream. You can always join the live chat rooms, or if it's easier, just email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Again, that's HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. This is your show, and we want to hear from you. Why? Because it's time for you to be your own voice of reason in your own community. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. Want to reach out to the show? A big part of the program is you, and we want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts of the show, maybe a guest we've had on the program, or my favorite, when you disagree with something that I talk about. You can email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com, or send us a message through our website at HooserReason.com. The show's not about me, it's about you. So be heard and be your own voice of reason. Again, email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com, or find our contact information at HooserReason.com. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. You want some more reason throughout the day? Well, now it's easier than ever to find. Here's what you do. Check out the website at HooserReason.com. There you can find past shows, links to all of our social media, special features, our monthly blogs, and a heck of a lot more. Plus, make sure to check in frequently, as we're constantly working to add more goodies that you'll really enjoy. Also, you can always subscribe and follow our social media sites for bonus content, articles that we use on the show, or maybe some additional rants. Yeah, it's all that and so much more. Check it all out at HooserReason.com. Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. The show's growing all the time, and as we talk about the big issues of the day, one of the big parts of the program is you. And I want you to join us on the program. Whether you agree, disagree, or just want to relieve some of that political frustration, we're here for you. No matter where you may be watching, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, go ahead and leave a comment on the live stream. Chat with other listeners and let me know your thoughts on the topic. Also chat with us on the Podbean chat room. Just go to our live stream of the show at podbean.com and chat with other listeners. You can also call into the program. Just download the Podbean app onto your smartphone, join the live stream, and call in through the app. This is your show, and we want to hear your thoughts. So go ahead and join us here on the Voice of Reason and the Hooser Media Network. Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of opportunities to watch, listen, learn, and be entertained with the Voice of Reason anytime you want. And here's how you can do it. First, become a Hooserholic by going to HooserReason.com and signing up for the show newsletter to get the latest on the show, upcoming guests, topical discussions, and more. Next, subscribe to the podcast and have the show automatically downloaded to any platform you like to use. You can subscribe through any of your favorite platforms with iTunes and Spotify, Google Play and TuneIn, or you can also go and subscribe directly to our Podbean website. Last, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, search Hooser Reason, and subscribe to watch all of our shows, videos, and get notified whenever we're live. All the links and info are at HooserReason.com. For a schedule of upcoming guests on the program, daily show topics, or to reach out to the Hooser Media Network, visit us on the website at HooserReason.com. Or for general inquiries, to be a guest on the program, or to have Andy a guest on your program, email us at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Keep fighting for freedom with us every day right here on the Voice of Reason and the Hooser Media Network. Now, back to the show.
Bring some reason into your day. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
There is no greater official honor for me than to stand on this floor and to speak for the people of San Francisco. This I will continue to do as a member of the House, speaking for the people of San Francisco, serving the great state of California, and defending our Constitution. And with great confidence in our caucus, I will not seek re-election to Democratic leadership in the next Congress. For me, the hour's come for a new generation to lead the Democratic caucus that I so deeply respect. And I'm grateful that so many are ready and willing to shoulder this awesome responsibility.
I'm sorry, I had to play it one more time. I had to hear it for myself one more time to know that Nancy Pelosi is done, and maybe soon we'll never have to hear from her again while she's got her drunken lisp going on of, I'm not going to be doing leadership anymore. The Democrats are totally confident about the younger generation. They're going to be great. They're going to do great. I don't know who they are. I don't know their names, but they're going to do great. That's the Democrat Party for you right now. Welcome back into the show. On the other hand, we have seen the announcement as well from Republicans. The Mitch McConnell leadership, the minority leader Mitch McConnell, won with overwhelming support in the caucus for the Republicans in the Senate side, which is honestly kind of pathetic. I mean, when are we going to start challenging and questioning, hey, wait a second, maybe we shouldn't elect the same leaders like the Democrats over and over and over again. Maybe we should do something a little bit different. We should try things just a little bit different. Andy, he knows the system too well. Good. It's time for a Donald Trump in the Senate to just overturn the tables and just say, to hell with the system and to hell with the process. We're doing something different here. Maybe that's what we should try. I don't know. Just me, though. On the House side, it sounds like Kevin McCarthy will become Speaker of the House. That's the name that everybody's talking about. And during the press conference today with the Republican caucus, they have essentially named him Speaker of the House, and how Kevin McCarthy's got big plans for the caucus.
I'm proud to announce the era of one-party Democrat rule in Washington is over. Washington now has a check and balance. The American people have a say in their government. And this new Republican leadership team is ready to get to work to put America back on the right track. It was our commitment to America that we would create an economy that is strong, a nation that is safe, a future that is built on freedom, and a government that is accountable. And that's exactly what we'll do.
I hope so. I hope that's exactly what he's going to do. It is going to be a hard-fought battle, and just to be realistic here, you're not going to be able to make a lot of that happen right now. All you're going to be able to do is really stop some of what Democrat, and I say some, again, because there are going to be some Republicans that are going to jump on the other side of the aisle, but you will stop some of the Democrat agenda with having some transparency and some checks and balance with Republicans owning one chamber of Congress, one chamber of one branch of government. That is not going to promote anything or push anything moving in the right direction, but we can at least slow down the insanity. He did talk about a little bit of unity within the Republican Party and how necessary it's going to be.
We know our job will not be easy. We know the task. We've got a close majority. We're going to have to work together. And we want to work with anyone that wants to make America stronger. We want to work with anybody on both sides of the aisle if they want to make America energy independent, give their parents a say in their kids' education.
They don't.
or secure our borders,
They don't.
or stop defunding the police.
They don't.
We know there's challenges in this nation around the world. We're listening to the American public. We are prepared to lead, regardless the size of the majority. One thing I've always learned, they don't hand gavels out in small, medium, and large. You get the right size gavel, and we will use it.
I don't know exactly what that reference is supposed to mean. That honestly makes me a little bit concerned, does it not? We're going to work with both sides of the aisle to make sure that you don't want to, have open borders. They do want open borders. They want an economy out of control. They want us to be energy dependent, not energy independent. They want the open borders. They want the insanity left-wing socialism. They're not going to work with you. And the fact that you're opening up that door, that's cool. That's a good soundbite right there. Realistically, though, that makes me a bit concerned because that means that he's open for negotiation from the other side, and negotiation and compromise in today's times, as you know, means Democrats get what they want and Republicans just roll over.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser. You know, when I get off the air every day, the battle for me against limited government, censorship, and even unfactual content is far from over. That's why now I'm so happy to say that the Hooser Media Network is giving you more opportunity to catch the voice of reason along with other great shows and podcasts. It's been a long time in the works, and now you can finally enjoy more great content, services, and topical shows. We're the safe space for alternative talk, information, and ideas that the mainstream media absolutely hates. From holistic and alternative medicine, discussions on religion and spirituality, pure entertainment shows, and of course yours truly with the voice of reason. Plus, we offer numerous media services, including helping you set up your own podcast. Become your own voice of reason and bring your expertise to any fun issue or topic. For information on all of our shows, links to podcasts, each show website or social media link, or to find out about everything we do to challenge the mainstream establishment, visit our website at HooserMedia.com. Again, that's HooserMedia.com, the future of media. Welcome to the Hooser Media Network. It's been a long time coming, and now it's growing bigger and better than we ever imagined. The Hooser Media Network is so much more than just the voice of reason. It's a network for you as a listener and you as a podcaster. It's a network for any kind of talk on any kind of topic, bringing podcasters together to give you a new way to think about the world, and it's any type of show from entertainment to educational. Check out all of our great programs, like Dr. Devin Verana with If They Knew.
Yeah, and it gives you tangible tools. I mean, I'm sure she just mentioned that some people might be mad at the government. I just can't imagine.
No.
I think there's a little bit of anger in the world these days, but I was listening to Wayne Dyer this morning, and he said, if you grab an orange and you squeeze it, what comes out? Juice. What kind of juice? Orange juice every time, right? It's not going to be apple juice. It's never going to be mango juice. It's always going to be orange juice. So whatever is in us is going to come out when we're squeezed. And so I'm sure you're learning that, like, taking yourself through this process continually just adds more and more power, more and more depth of compassion and joy and freedom and all those good feeling things, because you're clearing that space out.
Yes, exactly.
I love it. Now take people, so for anybody listening out there that might have an object of anger, whether it's somebody or something or, objects out in the world these days, take us into some tactical, practical things that they can do. Number one, I'm sure, is to come see you, but what are some other things?
So I skipped that one on purpose when I was going through this, but the first book that changed my life, and I listened to it before I signed up for I listened to her 1 hour Zoom before I signed up for the class. She was interviewing a man who told us about a book called The Four Agreements. And so then when you get into the class, we study the book called Forgive for Good by Fred Luskin. And we went through a process by Michael Brown called The Presence Process. These are all 3 books. And I hate to be this honest, but let me be this honest. You can read those 3 books and know everything I'm going to teach you. But like any good class, I mean, just because I signed up for a class in college, I buy the books. You really need someone to guide you through them.
That, plus tune into Spiritual Smorgasbord with Desiree and Cheyenne.
It is, and we talked about that because then, of course, other things started to happen after that. Of course, that was not my last doctor's visit, by no means. However, we talked about it, and I thought, our ancestors were so smart. They know, whatever ails us, there's a cure for on this planet. We're just not smart enough to know how to use it, but our ancestors were. We need to get back to that. Modern medicine, basically what that is it is what you get from the plant, the healing benefit, just on steroids with side effects.
Yes.
And so a lot of people, modern medicine is considered sexy. It's fast resolving. It's instant gratification. But, and so plant-based formula, the raw, natural plant-based formula is what is going to work. It's going to be great. It just takes a while. And people want that instant gratification.
Oh, yes.
So a lot of people try something.
It's been marketed to them that way, too.
It
They're like,
has.
oh, that's the old way. It's going to take you forever. But if you just take this, you wake up tomorrow and you can have whatever you want.
Exactly.
You can do whatever you want.
But at what cost?
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
my leg is broken, but have some Oxycontin.
Yes.
It's like, dude, your leg is still severely broken.
Right.
You just can't feel anything.
Yeah. And it's like, so let's go to nature. Let's see.
Yeah.
You know what? There's pain relievers in nature. Marijuana is a great pain reliever.
Yes.
For one. I mean, just
mentally and physically.
Yes. Well, I mean, but there's other remedies out there. And everything that ails us, there's a cure for on this planet.
This whole room smells like peppermint.
We're all getting cured.
We're all getting cured right now. It's a beautiful essential oil I bought from a local, I guess you could say, apothecary shelf, but I'm getting healed right now.
Yes, exactly. It is. And it's all around us. We just need to know how to look for it. And I'm sorry, but that's kind of what we were discussing. And that kind of was what started this whole journey. And what I'm very fortunate that, my spouse and I are together on this. It's not just one of us having a spiritual journey. It's that we're doing this together.
Listen to those shows and so much more on our website, where you can find live streaming, links to the podcast, links to social media, more content, and so much more. It's all online at HooserMedia.com.
When Reason Meets Radio. You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Darn right you are. Welcome back into the program. Thanks for hanging out today like we do every single day here on the show. Radio, TV, live streaming, podcasting, trying to cram that 10 pounds of reason into that 5-pound bag, trying to rebrand the millennial generation, one radio listener at a time. We are on multiple radio stations right now. Always love having you with us as we talk about the transition going on in Washington, D.C. Nancy Pelosi. It feels so good to hear that, doesn't it? It feels so good. Can I play it one more time, please? Just one more time. One more time.
And with great confidence in our caucus, I will not seek re-election to Democratic leadership in the next Congress.
Oh, man, that feels just a little bit good. Just a little bit. Then we have on the House side, or the Republican side of the House of Representatives, Kevin McCarthy, who is officially going to be our Speaker of the House now with the Republican majority. A slim Republican majority, but Republican majority nonetheless. Is he the right leader that we need? As he says, I'm willing to work with everybody as long as we promote this agenda, which is cool. That's a great agenda, but we're not going to be able to get a whole lot of it done with the slim majority we have and only controlling one chamber of one branch of government. Where do we go from here? Because the battle goes beyond just the political party lines. The battle goes beyond what we hear on the mainstream media or Washington, D.C. or elected officials. The battle goes beyond that. Where do we get back to our normalcy? How do we get back to common sense, as Donald Trump said during his announcement just a few days ago? How do we get back to decency in this nation? Excited to talk about that with our latest in What's Trending.
What's trending today?
Happy to have on the program with us today. He is the author of the book Rediscovering the American Covenant, Roadmap to Restore America. Excited to have on the program Mr. Mark Burrell. Mark, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, Andy. Greetings to you and your listeners.
Yeah, it is great to have you on the show with us today. Here's the big question, is we always talk about the growth of government. We talk about the dependency of government. We talk about how we've evolved or devolved, depending on how we want to look at it, compared to when we first started this nation. Is the country too far gone now, or is there a way to salvage what the intention of this country was all the way back when?
Well, I don't believe the country is too far gone. And I always default back to, with God, all things are possible. I mean, he can take nothing and turning it into something. So I always rest on that. But I don't think we are beyond the point of no return. But we do have to get back to our founding principles, which is what my new book, Rediscovering the American Covenant, is all about.
I love it. Talk about some of those platforms, that covenant. What is the founding principles that we have lost in this nation that we need to work towards again?
So what I do in the book is I'm focusing not on the Constitution, which really has our operating principles. Instead, I'm focusing on the Declaration of Independence that captures our founding principles. A lot of people look at the Declaration like it was, simply a newsflash telling the king to pound sand, but that's not what it was. The Declaration was an expression of what the founders believed was the purpose of civil government, to defend our God-given inalienable right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And it's actually these principles that define the soul of America. How much are you hearing that now, Andy? The Democrats are hearkening back to, this is a battle over the soul of America. And I think they're right when they say that. But the soul of America is captured in the Declaration of Independence. And it's principles like a community or a nation is established through a mutual covenant, through the mutual consent of the people, that there's a divine law that applies to all individuals and nations and is the standard for lawmaking, that God provides individual rights, those kinds of things. I actually list these out in my book, trying to make it crystal clear what these founding principles are.
I love it. I always talk about on the show about the 3 pillars of conservatism, which really branch off of the Declaration, that branch off the Constitution, but the 3 pillars of conservatism that, regardless of how we make an official statement on particular issues, as technology grows and as the issues in the current events change day in and day out throughout the ages, but the 3 pillars of conservatism as we stand on them, which is life, the right to life, the right to liberty, and the right of private property. As long as we defend those 3 pillars, that essentially we can hold up the constitutional values. That also bleeds into the religious values as well, I think, that we founded and based a lot of our principles off of. Is that the way that we need to look at these things?
Absolutely. In fact, liberty, we break that down, especially in the context of COVID. Because I had some personal experience with this, where I work, and as you know, many people who worked for a variety of different companies or government-related agencies were told they needed to get vaccinated. And so let's look at liberty through the lens of the vaccination question. First off, the vaccination was tested and approved using aborted fetal cells. And so for people that have a moral dilemma or a moral problem with abortion, that is an infringement of your religious liberty. On the civil liberty side, you nailed it when you said that we have a right to our property, and I think a lot of people still would say that, right? I mean, they still would say, someone shouldn't just walk up to you and steal your car or what have you.
Yeah.
But how much more important is it to have control over your own physical body? And so if you have a concern that, this experimental vaccine may cause harm to you, then you have every right to say, you know what, I don't want to put that in my body. And if you don't have a right to protect your physical body, then none of the other rights are even relevant. So that's how you think about liberty, through the religious liberty and civil liberty lens, in this case through the lens of the COVID issue.
Amen to that. I love it. I mean, the private property issue can be branched out to so many issues, not just, like you said, someone stealing your car because that is your property, but it is your body and your autonomy that is your private property as well. At the same time, it's also what you make. As we talk about this battle against socialism in the nation, the distribution, if you are a manufacturer and you're making a product, the taxation, the consumption from the federal government, the property taxes that we have, I mean, that is a violation over that right to property and private property as well, I believe. And this is a battle that we need to have across the board with those 3 pillars of holding up individual sovereignty in this nation.
Yeah, absolutely. And the one thing I'd like to build on, of course, life, liberty, and property was the key phrase that was being developed and used up in the founding era. But they said the pursuit of happiness in the Declaration of Independence. And a lot of folks believe that really that just meant pursuing whatever made you happy, including material pleasure or, whatever.
Yeah.
And that's actually not what they meant. What they meant was pursuing God or not based on your own conscience. So they actually wanted to protect the ability of every person to go on their own personal faith journey. And that could include rejecting God, or they hoped it would include accepting God and living according to the moral law, which is what makes a good citizen.
Yeah. I love it. We're talking with Mark Burrell, the author of the book Rediscovering the American Covenant, the Roadmap to Restore America. There is a new, I want to say, straw man that the Democrats are attacking now with coming out against those like Congresswoman Lauren Boebert and some of the others about Christian nationalism, how, trying to bring the church back into government, trying to have a dominant role of Christian values in the government. Talk about how important Christian values are, not only as an elected official or how we kind of base our moral compass in the country, but is this a concern about a separation of church and state issue like some try to claim? And what is this concern about quote-unquote Christian nationalism, if you've heard this term?
Yeah, so let me break that down. Christian nationalism is a term with many meanings, most of them bad. It typically means that you're trying to impose your faith through the state like the medieval church did. It often carries with it this idea of nativism, like you don't want to have any immigration coming, or white supremacy, or, all these negative things. It does also mean that you love your nation. And by the way, early in the Bible, right after the flood, in fact, God gives instructions to nations. He wants them to be fruitful, to increase in number, and to scatter. God is into nations. He is a nationalist. He is not a globalist. In fact, at one time when globalism was tried, we had the Tower of Babel, and we know how that turned out.
Exactly.
So the charge that the modern patriotic movement is Christian nationalism is easily proved false just by looking at the fact that the pro-patriot position right now couldn't be more pro-liberty, pro-religious liberty and pro-civil liberty, which tells you right away it can't be Christian nationalism.
Yeah.
So,
and like you said, there's a difference. Like you said, there's a difference between saying I am a Christian, being elected into an office to promote my values because this is what I believe, as opposed to, like you said, with the other mindset of Christian nationalism of I think everyone needs to be Christian, and we're going to persecute those that aren't because you're the dark stain on American history or whatever they want to call it. There's a major difference there, and that's not what anybody that I'm aware of, at least right now, is promoting.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And just to build on that, you can be a great American and not be a Christian. All you have to do is agree to the founding covenant, which is the Declaration, which means you have to agree that there are rights that are inalienable. You cannot take them away. You cannot take away someone's life. You can't take away their liberty, which means religious liberty and property. And you certainly can't take away their ability to pursue their faith as their conscience dictates. That's what it means to be an American. And there's nothing about that that fits into this label of Christian nationalism. It's really Christian patriotism is the way I would characterize it.
Yeah, I love that. Mark, we got to take a hard break here in just a few seconds. Can you stick over one more segment with us?
I can.
Hey, fantastic. I love it. I love this conversation. I want to continue it on when we come back and ask, moving forward, how do we bring these values back? How do we fight off this ever-expanding federal government and the taking away of these three pillars, taking away of the Declaration rights that we fought so hard to have and preserve in this nation? We'll do it when we come back. Here it is, the book Rediscovering the American Covenant, Roadmap to Restore America. We'll continue this conversation with Mark Burrell when we come back right around the corner as we go through our pre-Friday celebration. Big stuff as we try to figure out the problems of the world right here on The Voice of Reason. Stay here.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Andy Hooser here, reminding you not only can you listen to The Voice of Reason on your favorite radio station, but also check out the video of the program on TV and online. We're excited to be working with our partners over at OpsLens to bring The Voice of Reason live every day on their website at opslens.com, on the OpsLens app that you can download on any of your smartphones, or on any of the OpsLens social media. It's a great network that broadcasts multiple shows promoting truth, reason, and common sense, reaching thousands of viewers every day, all day long. Plus, while you're there, you can always watch some of the best highlights of the show during the weekends or read our latest opinion columns on topical issues of the day. Also, if you want to interact with me during the program, just leave a comment on their social media or the OpsLens app stream. You can always join the live chat rooms, or if it's easier, just email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Again, that's HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. This is your show, and we want to hear from you. Why? Because it's time for you to be your own voice of reason in your own community. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. You want some more reason throughout the day? Well, now it's easier than ever to find. Here's what you do. Check out the website at HooserReason.com. There you can find past shows, links to all of our social media, special features, our monthly blogs, and a heck of a lot more. Plus, make sure to check in frequently, as we're constantly working to add more goodies that you'll really enjoy. Also, you can always subscribe and follow our social media sites for bonus content, articles that we use on the show, or maybe some additional rants. Yeah, it's all that and so much more. Check it all out at HooserReason.com. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. Want to reach out to the show? A big part of the program is you, and we want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts of the show, maybe a guest we've had on the program, or my favorite, when you disagree with something that I talk about. You can email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or send us a message through our website at HooserReason.com. The show's not about me, it's about you. So be heard and be your own voice of reason. Again, email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or find our contact information at HooserReason.com. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. As we continue to grow as a radio and TV program, we're continuously working behind the scenes to try and bring more common sense and reason to more patriotic Americans all over the country. That's why we're super excited to be working with the OpsLens team to bring you the voice of reason every single day. OpsLens is a national online network bringing you incredible content all day from hosts all over the country. And each host brings their own unique experience and expertise to the current events, reaching hundreds of thousands of patriotic Americans daily. Make sure to check out their website at opslens.com. Make sure to download the OpsLens website and follow them on all of these social media sites that you like, so you can watch all their live streaming content, including ours right here with the Voice of Reason. Plus, if you want more of the Voice of Reason, check out our website online at HooserReason.com. There you can listen to the live audio feed of the show every single day. You can read our monthly blog. You can check out our satire infomercials. You can see pictures of what we're doing, upcoming schedule of events, and a heck of a lot more. On the website, you can find our list of radio and TV affiliates in your area. Find our social media links, and while you're there, sign up for our free newsletter. Over the last 2 years, your Voice of Reason newsletter has grown exponentially. It's completely free, and in it we give you your monthly motivation, upcoming civic holidays for the month, a recap from the show from last month, upcoming guests on the program, along with the latest news from our Hooser Media Network. It's pretty simple. All you got to do is go to the website at HooserReason.com and become the next Hooserholic. Finally, follow us on all of our social media sites. With the iron grip control on content from the radical left, unless you follow us, you're not going to be able to see us. It's been an ongoing battle with shadow banning on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, where even our own fans are having a hard time finding our content. But the battle isn't over. We'll continue to bring you the best content we can on as many platforms as possible. You can follow us with the handle at Hooser Reason. No matter what social media site you like to use, you can find us there. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch.tv, Instagram, TikTok, ourfreedombook.com, Parler, and of course our website at HooserReason.com. Don't miss it while we give you a heads up on some of the events that I may be attending or speaking at, updates of behind-the-scene projects, or just something sarcastic to try and rile up the left. The battle for freedom is real, and we want to be part of that battle, as we want you to be your own voice of reason in your own community. Conservative principles happen at the grassroots level, and that's what we're here to help with. And together, you and I can fight back against this virus that's spreading across the nation that is socialist policy, trying to destroy this country. We can bring us back to some constitutional values, some individual sovereignty, and the right for you to be able to make your own choices when you deem necessary for you, your family, and your community. In a world of fake news and information overload, it's time to bring back some reason, common sense, guidance, and a little bit of wisdom. And that's what we're here to do. This is the Voice of Reason.
Fighting for freedom every day. The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Darn right it is. Welcome back into the program. Thanks for hanging out today for the pre-Friday celebration. We are talking how to get our country back on track. We have the transition of power in Washington, D.C. right now. We played some of the clips from Nancy Pelosi. Had the transition to Kevin McCarthy. Don't know how that one's going to play out. And can we see some strength come out of the Republican Party? That's going to be the interesting one. But it goes a lot deeper than that, as we've talked with Mark Burrell here, author of the book Rediscovering the American Covenant, Roadmap to Restore America, Faith, and Bringing Back Our Original Principles here in the nation. Mark, so I've read this, and I love reading this poll over and over, and it's been a few years now. I need to get an updated one. However, it showed in a study just a couple years ago that as government grows in size, those that believe in a higher power or have some type of religious faith begin to dwindle, because we get in this mindset in society, which now it's becoming exponential and it's getting a bit concerning, but it grows in size, understanding that we start looking towards the government to solve our issues as opposed to a higher power, or finding that higher power within us to be able to do it ourselves. But we start looking towards the government. Every time there's a mass shooting, it's government, you need to do something. If there's economic turmoil, government, you need to do something. We always end up turning towards the government to solve our issues. And as that government grows and new bureaucratic agencies and new departments and new leaders and new government programs and socialized programs or welfare, whatever it is, we end up seeing a less and less individuals believing in that higher power, because the government is now the end to our answers. Is that what you've seen as well on your end?
That is clearly the pattern. Most people want to be taken care of versus solve problems. And so there's a lot of folks that act like they care and want to solve problems, claiming that they will. And, of course, they dip into the Treasury, pass a bill that's got 3% of funds that actually go towards the problem, and it's probably incorrect, their solution, and then the rest of it goes to other programs. So it's a shame. But I actually think, Andy, one of the root causes of this phenomena is that the progressives have done a great job of hiding the Christian faith. They have been saying separation of church and state, which is nowhere in the founding documents, by the way. We could go spend a whole hour on that. But what they've done is they have concealed the moral law, which is the law of nature and of nature's gods, in the first paragraph of the Declaration. And what the founders were saying there is, listen, there is a divine law that permeates the universe, and we are about to explain why we're separating, and it's based on that moral law. Everything is based on the moral law. This is one of my big conclusions after studying this for so long. And so what they were able to do is remove copies of the moral law, the Ten Commandments, from the public square. Just 50 years ago, or maybe even more recent, the Ten Commandments were everywhere. I mean, they were in every schoolhouse and courtroom and in front of courtroom buildings, and that sets the stage. When you remove that, you are now, able to be deceived. And when someone comes in and swoops in and says, "Let me help you. I feel your pain," right? Do you remember?
Yeah.
I feel your pain. Let me take care of this for you. People fall into that.
They do. It is sad. We got just about a minute and a half left here before we have to kind of wrap up. But your thoughts, and give us a little tease, and obviously it's in the book here, but what can we do? What should we work on? What do we have to focus on to begin bringing some of this back into the country and into society?
The first thing folks need to do is get educated. And there's so much rich information, rich history. If you're a Christian, let me tell you, the theology behind the American founding that went into the Declaration of Independence is amazing. And it will advance your faith. It took my faith to a whole new level, and I thought it was just going to be a side issue. But what I would end with is, how do we solve this problem? And if you look in the Bible, you actually see examples in the Old Testament of how God restores wayward nations. The nation of Israel, as many people know, had a lot of bad kings. They had a couple good ones, though, Josiah and Nehemiah. And they both did one thing. They read the covenant aloud to the people. The people recommitted, and God healed their land and blessed that reign. And I know it sounds crazy, Andy, but as I read the Bible and I ask, what's it going to take for God to engage? And I think most of us would agree that we need divine intervention at this point. That is the biblical template. So that's what I'm hoping to create with this book, is a national conversation about what it would take to really talk about the true soul of America, our Declaration, and recommitting to it as a nation.
I love it. It's having that conversation. It is bringing it back into the forefront, having the conversation at the dinner table with the kids, starting off with the young generation and recommitting to that covenant. It is the book, Rediscovering the American Covenant. Find it online, defendamericanliberty.com. Mark, it's great to talk to you, my friend. I love the conversation. We got to do it again soon.
Would love to. Thanks, Andy.
Hey, appreciate it very much. That does it for us today. Podcast up in just a bit. We're back at it one more day tomorrow for a Friday going into the weekend. Until then, be your own voice of reason. This is the Voice of Reason. I'm Andy Hooser. We'll see you on the radio. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. You know, when I get off the air every day, the battle for me against limited government, censorship, and even unfactual content is far from over. That's why now I'm so happy to say that the Hooser Media Network is giving you more opportunity to catch the Voice of Reason along with other great shows and podcasts. It's been a long time in the works, and now you can finally enjoy more great content, services, and topical shows. We're the safe space for alternative talk, information, and ideas that the mainstream media absolutely hates. From holistic and alternative medicine, discussions on religion and spirituality, pure entertainment shows, and of course yours truly with the Voice of Reason. Plus, we offer numerous media services, including helping you set up your own podcast. Become your own Voice of Reason and bring your expertise to any fun issue or topic. For information on all of our shows, links to podcasts, each show website or social media link, or to find out about everything we do to challenge the mainstream establishment, visit our website at HooserMedia.com. Again, that's HooserMedia.com, the future of media.